Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is once again me, Zach, here today with some more tier list content for Grounded for your viewing pleasure. Today we are going to be going over roughly half of the armor sets in the video game, starting with the sort of tier 1 armor sets and moving up through the tier 2. Maybe if we're fast enough we'll get through all of them, I don't know, but I'm going to be a little bit less descriptive in this one than I am in the weapon tier list, just because there are quite a few armor sets for us to get through, and a lot of the kind of strategy in Grounded comes down to, you know, picking and choosing which armor pieces you mix and match, and whether or not you go for set bonuses, and all this other stuff. But we'll try and get through these relatively quickly. We're going to start off with the Acorn set now. We are talking about the sets in total, not just the individual armor pieces, and while we are not talking about drip, I will say the Acorn face mask, 10 out of 10, love it. So, this is obviously a tier 1 armor set available pretty early on in the video game. The biggest things that it gives you are, of course, each piece gives you major threat, which provides you with a 20%? Yeah, a 20% boost to your threat level, or how favorable you are to be attacked by enemies. In addition to this, the Sleek effect gives max HP, and the set bonus gives you stun resistance. It's the uncrackable effect. This overall is a pretty decent armor set for multiplayer. If you have somebody who wants to play specifically as a tank, having one or two pieces of the Acorn set is pretty solid to draw aggro, and having the entire set is not awful. It does fall off in the kind of mid to late game, of course, being only a tier 1 armor set, so I don't think I can put it even as high as B tier, but I do think it is a high, solid C tier. It's not my favorite personally, but it's not atrocious. The next up is the Clover armor. This is probably the first armor most people are going to bother making in the game, outside of a few special pieces we'll get to later, because it is very cheap. The main thing that it does is that each piece gives you a resistance to the damage of any other tier 1 enemies. This makes it very good in the early game, and of course mostly worthless past that point. However, the Sleek effect gives you trickle regen, which is specifically 1 health every 10 seconds, and the set bonus also does that thing. So, it's meh. I mean, like, extra health regen is not terrible, but it's not great. Overall, though, I really can't recommend this past the extreme early game. It's got to be a D tier. It's far from the worst thing in the entire video game, sure, but it doesn't make it a good thing in the video game. Next up, we've got the Grub armor. This is a little bit trickier to make than the other two sets, and, I mean, kind of. And while still being tier 1, has some interesting bonuses for sure. This one has what is called Tenderfoot Offense, which gives a damage bonus to all tier 1 enemies, which I would say is a little bit more useful than the Clover set, just innately. In addition, they have Hyper Stamina is what's called, which increases your stamina regen. And then they have the Optimized Offense as the set bonus, which provides you with a reduction in the time it takes for your stamina to regenerate. I think that Optimized Offense is kind of mid. It's only a 10% reduction in the time it takes for stamina to start regenerating, but the hyper stamina itself is okay. It's far from the worst thing ever. By and large, as a medium armor set, and because it does give you offensive bonuses against tier 1 enemies and stuff, I do think it's better than the Clover set, but is it actually as good as the Acorn set? No. I think it's at the bottom of C tier, personally. Next up, you've got the Red Ant armor set. Now, this is kind of an interesting one because this is our first example of utility armor. Now, while it has decent armor stats of its own, it is a light armor, I should specify that. It's not awful as armor, but what it really excels at is boosting your carry weight, and generally helping you out around the base. Oh, I should probably put it up here so you guys can see it. That's my bad. Oopsie doopsie. But it increases the number of grass planks you can carry by 3 per piece for a total of 9. It also, if you activate the sleek effect, will increase the speed at which you chop grass and similar things down. And then, of course, as its set bonus, it has the hum ant, which I guess it's humant. That's wow. I really fucked that one up, didn't I? So the hum ant effect is, unsurprisingly, whenever you are wearing the red ant armor, the full set, red ants will not attack you. They will see you as one of them, and they will ignore you. This is pretty decent, just for getting around in their area without being constantly set upon by them. And the fact that it does give you base building bonuses and stuff does mean that I don't think it's a D tier. And in fact, I would argue it's probably B tier. It is hard to rate utility versus combat effectiveness. You know what? I'll put it in C tier for that reason. It's hard for me to put a mediocre combat armor higher than a good combat armor for the early game, just because it lets you carry more for building and such, right? So it's a little bit eh. That being said, though, then we've got the Red Strategist armor. This is obviously a little bit hard to get in its own way for a tier 1 armor set, but it's not bad. It is a medium armor, so right out of the gate, that's pretty interesting. The piece effect is summon aggro, which means that when you're wearing 3 pieces, enemies are roughly 60% more likely to attack your summons rather than you. That can be useful, especially if you're running certain other effects, but alongside the summon aggro, it also comes with the sleek effect Summon Thorns, which means that any enemy that hits your summons takes damage as well. That kind of trade-off, that back and forth, is built into the kit once you've upgraded it enough, which is pretty cool. That's actually a decent kind of combo. Finally, you've got the set bonus, which is Red Ant Commander. This gives all of your attacks with any weapon a 10% chance to spawn a friendly Red Ant soldier that will die after 15 seconds. It's pretty decent. Red ants are obviously pretty weak compared to fire ants and black ants, but, I mean, an ant is an ant after all, as they say, as the Bible says, okay? I think overall this is one of the best of the tier 1 armors. I don't know exactly how good it is. I haven't tried it in like a tier 3 setting, but I would be willing to put it in B tier. I would say it is handily the highest tier of these. Next up, we've got the tier 2 armor sets, which starts with the B armor set. B armor is kind of a bow-focused deal. The individual pieces give a scaling 20% chance to inflict stun when using bows or crossbows, and the sleek effect is that ranged attacks have a 50% chance to slow the target. In addition, they've got Pollen Shot as a set bonus. This is a 25% chance to release a cloud of pollen that has a 5 stun in an area around the attack. I think that the B armor is okay. It's fine, but I don't know if it's really worth going for. Bs are kind of in a weird spot. It's not exactly out of the way, but they aren't really central to any of the major story beats, and you can skip them entirely. So I think overall, the B armor is kind of like top of C tier. I personally just don't see it as being all that good. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think I'm wrong. Next up, we've got the Black Armor set. Now, the Black Armor set is kind of a tank set. Now, it's a little bit weird, because it's not exactly a tank set. It's a medium armor, and it's kind of a parry tank based armor set. First off, the piece effect is crit after block, meaning that whenever you block attacks, you have a chance to increase your crits, or increase the damage afterwards. This means that with perfect parrying and stuff, you can absolutely smack enemies around, and even if you fuck up your perfect parries, there's a chance that your block will give you a crit afterwards, which is pretty decent. The sleek effect of it is crit hyper stamina, which is, I mean, pretty solid in and of itself. It's a, what is it, a 50% chance? Yeah, 50% chance, I believe, to lower the time it takes for you to start regenning your stamina. Not too awful. And then they have the pincushion effect as their set bonus for the black armor. This is reflect 100% of damage taken back to enemies. This one's kind of a mixed bag, because on a lot of difficulties you are going to get one-tapped by things, but I think generally this is an okay armor set. Set bonus, sorry. It's pretty good in the tier 2 zone where you would be using black ant armor, right? So I'm inclined to leave this in B tier. I actually think it kind of is fine there. Is it great? No. But is it okay? Yeah, I think it's pretty fine. The next up is the Black Ant Strategist armor, which has the worst eyeball, canonically. Like, that is the most frightening looking of the eyeballs. This armor set also requires you to deal with the Ant Queen, specifically the Black Ant Queen. And it is also a medium armor, much like the Black Ant armor itself. The effect that it has per piece is Summon Stun, which is a +1 stun on every attack from your friendly summons per armor piece. That's pretty solid. Big fan of that. The sleek effect is Summon Attack Speed, which just increases the attack speed of your summons. And then, of course, you've got, as the set bonus, the Black Ant Commander, which does what you would expect. It makes it so that whenever... Let me double check to make sure it's the exact... Yeah, it's the exact same amount. A 10% chance to spawn a friendly Black Ant soldier that will die after 15 seconds. So, pretty solid stuff. Yeah, I think that this is better than the previous one. I am inclined to put it higher. I think they're pretty even, though, honestly. I just don't really see either of them as being incredibly good. Summon Stun is nice, but it's only, even with all three pieces, it's only going to be like a 3 stun chance. A lot of summons don't even attack very quickly, so it's kind of mid. By and large, meh. Not great, not terrible. Reasonably decent fan. The next up is the Koi Scale set. This is one of my favorite armor pieces overall. I think it looks neat, and I used some of it in my first playthrough a while ago. What each piece does is plus perfect block, which just extends the perfect block window by 15 seconds. Sorry, 15 milliseconds, not 50 seconds. Good God. 15 milliseconds. Important distinction there. This would be triple Omega S tier if each piece increased the perfect block window by 15 seconds. You'd have 45 seconds to perfect block every enemy attack. Christ almighty. Anyway, yeah, so it also has, as its sleek effect, parry stun, which anytime you perform a perfect block, it just basically has a chance to kind of like stun the target. Or, sorry, to increase your stuns from your attacks, I should say. It's decent. I don't love the sleek effect. I originally was going to do some stuff with it because I generally play mage, and I kind of thought that the Koi Scale armor would kind of mesh with that. But yeah, I ended up not, for a reason I'll talk about in just a moment. The set bonus is Dazzling Riposte. Perfect blocks decrease enemy defense by 20% for 10 seconds. Pretty solid stuff there. Not anything too crazy, really, but I mean 20% more damage for 10 seconds, that's good. Something to note here is that that is a percent boost, which means that on any difficulty, on any New Game Plus rating, anything like that, this is a solid option. If you are good at perfect blocks or parrying, whatever you want to call it. The downside of this armor set to me is that it's kind of expensive to craft early on. Like for a tier 2 armor set, it feels kind of expensive to make and to upkeep. It's not like the end of the world or anything, but it just is kind of annoying to keep those armor sets around. I remember at one point I was running around with my friends because we were just busy doing like progression stuff, and I was just kind of quietly running around with, I think, my leggings, the greaves, broken. And I'm pretty sure I was wearing the chest plate as well, and that was like mostly broken because I had not had a chance to get back to the pond and get the stuff I needed to repair it. And we lived kind of far away from the pond at the time, so it was just a whole thing. But apart from that, I feel like the Koi scale set is sort of slept on. I'm gonna say it's actually A tier. It's towards the bottom of A tier. It is only a tier 2 armor set, but I do kind of feel like it's pretty decent. I don't know, man. I feel like it's pretty awesome, personally. Speaking of awesome, Ladybug armor. I don't think this will surprise anyone if I put this immediately at the top of A tier. This is arguably one of the best armor sets in the game. It's one of the armor sets that's so good people run at least some Ladybug armor all the way to the end without any real issue. You don't have to, but it's very good. It's another tank set, so of course it is heavy armor. I should note that. Did I say that the Koi set is light armor? Because it is. I don't know if I mentioned that. Each individual piece of Ladybug armor provides plus block strength. Pretty straightforward stuff there. The sleek effect increases healing effectiveness by 10%. Really good. And then if you have the full set bonus, you have the Scarlet Embrace. This is a 50% chance, whenever you block an attack, to give you a regen effect, which will heal 1 health every 2 seconds for 20 seconds. So it heals 10 health, basically. So 50-50 chance to just get 10 health back every time you block an attack. Not bad. The set effect is not really the highlight, but it is decent. It's mostly the increased healing that's so good, because again, you know, we're looking for percent bonuses here. That's pretty nice to have. Now, yeah, when you get into like the really crazy new game pluses where you've got like plus 8 billion% healing, you don't really need it. But I mean, until then, it's pretty useful. Pre-New Game Plus, it is one of the best armor sets in the game. I would put it in S tier. Why don't I put it in S tier? I'm putting it in S tier. Like, it's... As far as tier 2 goes, I don't think it gets any better than this. And as far as tier 3 goes, it can compare. So I think it's worth putting it in S tier. Speaking of S, here's Spider set. The Spider set, I think, is kind of odd, personally. I don't know. I wasn't exactly blown away by it. It has Hasty Regen as its piece effect, which just lowers the... it lowers your exhaustion when you run out of stamina by 5%. 15% less for that is... Like, 15% less exhaustion if you have the full set equipped is not bad. But is it incredible? Also, no, not really. The set bonus of it, skipping the sleek effect for a moment here, the set effect is Hunter's Prowess, which increases stamina regen rate by 25%. This is okay in the mid-game. This is actually pretty decent, I would say, in the mid-game. But by the end of the game, or like late game, it's meh. The other thing that it does is boost poison damage. That's its sleek effect. So I think I'm going to put this in A tier. It's towards the bottom, because Hunter's Prowess is a decent set bonus if you're going for that. It is medium armor when it kind of looks like it should be light armor, so that's pretty cool too. But really, to me, if you're building around poison, then the sleek effect has some usefulness. I've seen some builds kind of designed around that were pretty decent, and they used pieces from this set. So I'm inclined to put it into A tier, albeit pretty low in A tier.